And ships are being warned to avoid the island where possible. More about the coup on the 6 o'clock news.
Hi, this is the Professional Amateur Hour coming to you with another review. This week I got my new mic out, so hopefully I'm sounding well, which is good because I got a great movie for you to consider this week. This week I checked out Rage to Kill, and this 1987 film was directed by David Winters and stars Cameron Mitchell, James Ryan, and Oliver Reed, among others, of course. So what is the story of this movie? Well, it's kind of a little convoluted, but the setup is that there's this race car driver, and he has a brother who's in medical school, but it's not like in the USA. It's an international school, so it's on some kind of Caribbean island. And that Caribbean island then has like a coup, like a junta comes in and, takes over, which is like a military kind of leadership thing. And, kind of takes the international students hostages. So this race car driver smuggles himself into the country and then goes all commando and starts doing stuff. Along the way, there's also like a rebellion, so they team up with those guys and, fight the junta. So, what will happen? Well, for that, you gotta watch the movie and find out. All right, so what can we say about Rage to Kill? Well, with this one, the way I curate movies for this channel is sometimes I just like skip around to random parts to see if it kind of looks good or looks interesting. And this one, I skipped to 4 parts, and it's all like just battles or gunfights or something that's really fun. So with this one, once I realized that, I was like, yeah, I gotta watch this one. So I did press play on it over on Tubi, so it's over there if you want to watch it. But this one is like kind of like a quintessential B movie, I would say. It has everything that a B movie has, but how it kind of all comes together is really like fun. Like they have every stereotype in the world for B movies, but only like one of them. So they have like one time a guy gets lit on fire. There's one time where a car goes off a cliff. There's one time where a boat explodes. And, there's just so many different things, but it's always just kind of like one time it happens. So it's just like a B movie buffet that way. And then even the setup for this one, because it's a race car driver and you see him like racing, the kind of the jet cars or rocket cars or whatever they're called. And he goes there and it's just so weird. Like, why would he do that? Like, he actually has a line like before that, like, oh, I'm sure the government's taking care of it. But then he just like smuggles himself in there and then he starts doing commando stuff. And it's just so much fun. And it's kind of like ambiguous whether or not he was kind of in a commando role, in a previous career or whatnot, but it's just such a weird kind of situation. And yeah, there's just so many different things in it that just are B movie for sure. With one thing I do, kind of judge B movies on, or at least, have a sign of what you're getting into, is that in the first like 5-10 minutes of this movie, there's a child that's killed by the junta government. And you're just like, wow, like, what you're getting into when a child dies in the first 5 minutes. And the kill right after that is something to see as well. So there's a lot of stuff in this one that just makes it for a wonderful B movie. Also, with this movie, Cameron Mitchell is in it, and he's kind of a hilarious kind of B-movie actor who I assume kind of, does whatever he wants. And it's just super corny acting from him, and just like, again, random things that he does in this one is just so weird where, it's Cameron Mitchell, let him do it. He has lines where he's just sitting down too, even though he was like, walking somewhere. They finally find a chair and he's sitting there. But there's one time where they have to like capture someone, and then he's like riding a bike and he captures that person. And he's just like, oh, I like your bike. I'm going to take it. I'm going to go for a ride. And then just randomly, like, it's just so weird. So Cameron Mitchell is wonderful to see in this one. I would say all of the actors actually have that kind of B-movie corny acting, which personally I love. I'll probably talk about in the bad part, but I love that type of acting. Like, it's really just fun to see them. No one's really taking it that seriously, at least, Cameron Mitchell's not. And yeah, it's just fun characters with, fun acting as well. Overall, it's a fun B movie, and they got one of every trope. They even have a sex scene, but on the beach in the water. So it's like, you know, really kind of funny thing as well. So it's just like overall a great B movie to watch if you're into B movies. Of course, like if you're not into this type of stuff, this is clearly not going to be for you. But if you are, I can recommend this one. And that brings me to what doesn't work with this one. Well, it's a silly movie, that's for sure. Like a race car driver goes there and then he starts leading like a rebellion against the, you know, military government. And it's just funny and silly. Like, why would a race car driver have all these skills? But, you know, that's how it is, right? And then even then, like the international students, like they pick up guns too, and they're, you know, pretty skilled at it. And then they join the rebellion, and the rebellion, oh, the rebellion's kind of ridiculous. It looks like they just kind of like have extras from the island being the rebellion, and even then, like the leader of the rebellion, he is, let's just say, a subpar actor in this one at least. And so there's just so many things that, you know, go into it to make it a B movie where it is not the best that way. That's why it's B and not A, right? So yeah, that certainly is an issue for some, but for me, not one bit. That's what I'm there for. What else can I say? Well, with this one, it is also like generic, kind of. It's like I said, they have one of every trope that you could possibly think of for a B movie. And so it does have that generic quality to it. So certainly it's not, you know, going to be too memorable, but while you're watching it, you'll probably have fun. Just, you know, generic B movie fun. That's certainly what you could be looking for. So as for a recommendation, well, you probably guessed by now, I would recommend it. It's great fun, especially for B-movie lovers. And as for a rating, well, with this one, of course, I'm going to give it the good bad score of 4.5. However, you know, on a B-movie lovers scale, I'm going to give it a shadow score of 7. I thought it was really good that way, just a lot of fun. And with that being said, I think that's all I wanted to say. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.